Let us start the class. Online Advanced Java class. Under Advanced Java, we have three topics: JDBC, Servlets, JSP. By combining all these three, we talk about MVC architecture. Okay. So already we completed JDBC. Okay. We completed JDBC. So now we have to learn servlets. So the point is 8 o'clock to around 9:15. I will be taking the class 5 minutes here and there. Why am I saying all this is? Some new students have joined today, it seems. And from 9:15, some 15-20 minutes, I will give time for subject doubts. So whatever topic I covered here, on that you can ask doubts. Okay, please. No more personal questions, only subject doubts. Okay, as simple as that. Be professional. For the last JDBC time, some 100 students were attending. They were very professional. Today I observed some new names and all. Okay, that is why I am mentioning all this. Okay, very good, very good. So now, actual topic is Java Web Application Development. Topic is Java Web Application Development. What is a web application? So please remember, when you are learning Java language learning, people call it as core Java. While learning core Java, okay, you develop standalone applications. Now, when you are learning advanced Java, okay, another type of application development, web application development. Okay. And another thing, when you are learning Spring Boot, microservices and all, another level that comes under full stack, complete, distributed applications. So Java applications are standalone applications with public static void main. Okay. Web applications, online applications, more than that is distributed. Under advanced Java, you learn only web application. Very good. This web application will become a very base for learning distributed application development. So by this month end, we complete advanced Java topics, right? This batch will be completed by this month end. Okay, that's our point. I am once again reminding you. Very good, very good. So yesterday I was talking about a website, static website, dynamic website. Static website and dynamic website I was talking about. Okay. Non-interactive website is a static website. Interactive website is a dynamic website. So dynamic website is known as web application. We were talking about what is the architecture of a website, client server architecture. Web client means browser sends a request to web server. Web server sends a response to the web client. So web client and web server use hypertext transfer protocol, HTTP, to communicate each other. That is why web client is also known as HTTP client. Web server is also known as HTTP server. Commercial name for web client is browser. On behalf of the end user, always web client sends HTTP request to the web server. Web server will send the HTTP response. So that's what I was talking in the last class. Let us continue the story. Okay, very good. Can you have a website? Can you have a website without a web server? You cannot. Without a web server, no website. No website is possible. Fine. Now the discussion is, once again I mention, what are the duties of a web server? First, remember whether it is a static website or whether it is a dynamic website. Whether it is a static website or whether it is a dynamic website. Without a web server, no website. So, what are the duties of a web server? What are the duties of a web server? Very simple. Any server's first duty is providing connection to the clients. So that is how, let us start today's story. What are the main functionalities of a web server? What are the main functionalities of a web server? Actually, web server is a software. It comprises two modules. It consists of two modules. Okay. So one module, if you feel this web server is one software. Okay. It has two modules. One module is networking module. Another module, single software only, two parts. Another part is IO module, input output module. Like, you know what this networking module of this web server software does? It provides connection to the browsers. First duty of the web server is, okay, providing, okay, very technically speaking, HTTP socket connection. HTTP socket connections to web clients. Please remember, when a JDBC program, when a Java program is communicating with database, first duty of the Java program is requesting for connection. Database server given connection is a TCP IP connection. TCP/IP connection. Don't ask me as a doubt what is TCP/IP. You Google search and try to learn on your own. It is beyond the discussion of advanced Java batch. Okay, academically you have to know. When Java program is communicating with database server, any server's first duty providing the connection to the client. So in the context of Java database communication, the connection provided by the database server is TCP/IP connection. But in browser web server communication, here also connection only. Whenever browser is sending a request, okay, internally it's a connection request only first. So web server provides connection to the browsers, providing HTTP socket connections to browsers. First duty. Second duty, providing requested web resources to web clients. So please remember, this right side arrow is there now here, this arrow. Okay. Client is sending a request to the server. Single request only. But that single request internally divided into two requests. You know what is the first part of the request? Asking for connection. Second part of the request is begging for a web page. Of course, so many types of resources are there, but mostly web page. When browser is begging the web server, first part of the begging is connection. Please allow handshaking with you. Second part of the request is, please give me a particular web page. Single request only involving two parts. So therefore, what is the first duty of the web server? Providing the connection to the browser. Once web server provides the connection to the browser, what is the second duty of the web server? In the hard disk of the web server machine, that HTML file will be there. Okay. File reading, file writing. Web server program reads that file, HTML file from the hard disk and sends to the browser. Okay, so I told you, web server is two modules, networking module and IO module. Networking module of the web server software provides connection to the browser and communicates with the browser. It's a communication module with the browser. But what this IO module will do? HTML file is there in the hard disk now. It will read that file and sends to the browser. Reading from the hard disk, sending to the browser via networking module. Like, you need not think that much deep, please. Just idea. Okay, very good. What are the main functionalities of a web server is providing connection and providing requested web resources to web clients. Okay, as simple as that. Without a web server, no website. Okay, observe. User enters into the browser's URL box. Okay, something. www.hdfc.com. Browser sends a request to the web server. First duty of the web server is providing connection to the browser. Second duty is sending the first page of the website. Means home page it will send to the browser. Very good. Anything web server only will provide. Without web server, no website. Okay, that's all. That is the only point I established yesterday. Today also I am establishing. I told you yesterday there are two types of websites: static websites and dynamic websites. Assume we have only web server. Assume we have only web server. Sorry, if only web server is there, okay, it can support only static website. It cannot provide support for dynamic website. Okay, that's all. That is the point to understand. Okay, so now the question is, what is the limitation, or better say, what are the limitations of a web server? Thank God, this question is very important. For me, it is a bread and butter. If web server does not have this limitation, advanced Java batch cannot be conducted. I think this is more than 500th time, 505 or 506th time I am teaching advanced Java. So I would not have got my bread and butter had web server not got the limitation. So if web server is fully, completely powerful on its own, there is no need of right advanced Java. Like that is why. Thank you for I always be grateful to this question, right? A web server alone can support only static website. It cannot support a dynamic website on its own. Please remember, if you use only web server on its own, it can support only a static website. It cannot support a dynamic website. Nowadays, web servers are supporting dynamic websites also. But sorry, not on its own. A web server alone cannot support a dynamic website. Okay. Then how? Then what to do? That's what we have to understand, please. Okay. If anybody asks you, what is the drawback of a web server? How to overcome that web server? With that, our topic starts. I already told you JDBC topic is over. And next topic in advanced Java, servlets. So it is just introduction before I start the topic called servlets. You have to bear with this introduction. So we are diving into second topic of advanced Java. Okay, remember. Good. So a web server alone cannot support dynamic websites as it has the following limitations. Number one, it cannot communicate with the database. It cannot process the data. It cannot process the data. It cannot produce the response page. Because of these three limitations, web server is unable to support a dynamic website. For example, you are doing online banking. Assume balance inquiry. Okay. So this is the browser. Fine. And web page is there here. You are entering account number and text box is there. It is a web form. Just assume it is not 100% real story like. End user enters the account number into this. Click on the submit button. Where the control goes? Control goes to web server. Very good. So now tell me, actually what this web server should do now? Balance details. Account details are where? Where are the account details? In the database. Account details are in the database, that's all. Whether you want to book a ticket in online reservation system or online banking or online insurance when you want to take a policy, all the details, all the data stored in the database only. Okay. So in the database only. Just a minute, please. Just a minute. Yes, please. So data, customers' data, users' data in the database only. But sorry, browser cannot communicate with the database. From browser, request will go to web server only. Web server cannot communicate with the database. It cannot process the data. It cannot produce the response page. Actually, what is the user expectation? What output should come to the user? Okay, balance is, okay, rupees. Some amount should be coming like. So this is called response page. So now tell me, user entered the account number, getting the balance details. Is it not interactive website? Is it not a dynamic website? Yes. This is the response page. Balance displaying page is the response page. So now tell me, when user entered the account number, click on the submit button, control goes to web server. What does the web server do? Yeah, it receives the request. Account number will be with web server only. That's all. But where are the account details? In the database. So web server cannot communicate with the database. It cannot process the data. It cannot produce the response page. If it cannot do these three things, it is natural that it cannot support a dynamic website. That's all. Thank God, web server has got this limitation. Okay. Naturally, next question should be how to overcome the limitation. How to overcome the limitations of the web server. how to overcome the limitations of the web server. Please remember, if you don't overcome the limitations of the web server, no support for dynamic website. So very simple. Okay. Using server-side program. See, you have two servers, web servers and database server. Two servers. Okay, so if you look at this diagram, this is the client. It is the browser. Web client. Web server. This is the database server. Okay. Server-side program means not database server-side program. Web server-side program. Web server-side program. So now tell me how to overcome the limitations of the web server using server-side programming. Okay, that's all. Now, how to implement server-side programming for a .NET based website, for a PHP based website, for a Python based website. Okay, server-side programming style will differ. Java based website, then you have to learn Java full stack. Server-side program you want to write in Python, that is called Python full stack, you have to learn. Like that. So, dynamic website development, web application development, then only full stack word will come. Always remember. Okay, fine. So, what are the main functionalities of a server-side program? What are the main functionalities of a server-side program? Okay. Extending the functionality of a or of the web server is the main objective of a server-side program. Tell me, what is the main purpose of a server-side program? Extending the functionality of the web server. Tell me, without server-side program also, assume this is the browser. Okay, assume this is web server. Without server-side program also, web server has got some functionality, providing connection to the browser, reading the .html file from the hard disk and sending to the browser. Web server has got some functionality, but with only web server functionality, it can support only static website. Now, web server uses, okay, whom it will use? Server-side program it will use. So, by taking the help of a server-side program, now onwards, web server's functionality enhanced, extended. Without a server-side program, it is able to provide support only for a static website. By using the support of server-side program, web server's functionality extended, increased, enhanced. Now onwards, it can support not only static website, but also dynamic website. Okay. So, a server-side program, okay, main duty, okay, extending the functionality of the web server. They will ask in the interview, what is extending mean? Simple. Without server-side program, web server can support only static website. Now this web server program, web server software takes the help of a server-side program. Now onwards, it can support dynamic website also. Is it not enhancing the functionality of the web server? Yes, server-side program is meant for that. Server-side program is not meant for dominating the web server, assisting the web server. Server-side program duty helping, assisting the web server, increasing its functionality. You are depending on me, you are begging me, I am your boss, get out. You are the slave. Server-side program is a slave. It is meant for serving, serving, serving. That is why in Java, they call it as a servlet. Okay, very soon we start the topic called servlet. Today only we start this topic. Servlet. Okay, so Java based websites. Okay, one server side program is a servlet. You know why the name they have given servlet? It is meant for serving, serving, serving. That's why it is a servlet. Okay, like that, like that. Very good. What are the duties of the server side program? Server side means web server side. Now onwards, I will not say anymore. The server side program, okay, does the following things to enhance the functionality of a web server. Observe here, please, carefully. End user, balance inquiry example. End user entered the account number, clicked on the button. Control goes to whom? Web server. Web server. Now, account number is in whose hands? In web server's hands. Please remember. So, how it will go to its hands? That transportation and all taken care by HTTP on the top of TCP IP. That much you need not think. HTTP will take care. Internet hardware infrastructure, TCP IP and HTTP software infrastructure put together will drive this account number to the web server. When you enter account number into the HTML form, browser captures that account number. Always browser captures the account number, not web server captures the account number. Browser HTTP client, it will send that account number to web server. So finally, account number is in whose hands? Web server's hands. Now we should write what? Server side program here. So now server side program. So now tell me, balance inquiry is the use case, means example. What does the web server do now? After receiving the web server, after receiving client request, the web server calls the server side program. Hello, server side program. Hello, server side program. Okay, help me. Now tell me, for this balance inquiry sake, tell me what are the duties of the server side program. What are the duties of the server side program? Very simple. First duty, account number is with whom? With web server. So, server side program first duty, capturing the user input. First duty, capturing the user input. From whom? From the web server. So, server-side program duties I am explaining. First duty, getting the account number from the web server. Very good. After that, what this program should do? Your JDBC knowledge apply. Sends select statement to the DBMS. Sends select statement to the DBMS. Because balance inquiry, na? Because it is a balance inquiry, communicating with the database. Okay, second duty, communicating with the database. So, sending the select statement, we should not write. Who told always balance inquiry? If it is online funds transfer, then it should send the update statement. Okay, if it is account closing, then it should send a delete statement to the DBMS. That is why second duty of the server-side program is communicating with the database. The moment I say communicating, connection establishment, submitting this, all will be there. Please. Already JDBC, we cannot talk here again. Then processing the data. So data processing should be done. So somehow, with this server-side program, balance details are there. After communicating with database, balance details are with whom? The server-side Java program. If it is a Java-based website, it is a Java program. If it is a Python-based website, Python server-side program. Like that. Now tell me, finally, after processing the data, balance details are with whom? Server-side program. Can the server-side program send the response to the browser? Sorry, server-side program is never meant for communicating with the browser. Who should communicate with the browser? Web server only. Now, server-side program duty is producing the response page. That response page should be developed by server-side program. HTML page only. Okay. So now the duty of the server-side program is producing the response page. Okay. So producing the response page. Okay. Now tell me finally, balance details page with whom? With server-side program only. Because it only produced the balance details HTML page. No? But can it send to browser? No. Through proper channel only it should submit. It is not a communication software. Server-side program is not a communication software to communicate with the browser. It is not a networking software to communicate with the browser. So then, what is the next duty of the server-side program? And of course, last duty, handing over the response page to the web server. Okay, fine. So, handing over the response page to the web server. Finished. Now tell me, finally, balance details page with whom? With web server. That page, actually HTML content, who will send to whom? Web server will send to the browser. Not technically speaking, web server will not send the web page. Web server sends HTML code to the browser. Browser executes that HTML code and renders that as a web page. But no problem, we can say web server sends response page to the browser. Browser displays. Now tell me, this web server is providing support for which kind of website now? Dynamic website. What is a dynamic website? A site that takes user input and gives user specific response. Interactive website. Only web server, can it support interactive website? No. It is taking whose help? Server side programs help. Now, web server's power is increased from supporting only static website to supporting dynamic website. Exactly, that is the story, please. Okay, very good. Okay. What are the different types of web server side programs? Always server side means web server side Java programs. I have given star means your understanding sake I am writing this term. Okay. Star means I am escaping like. Okay. What are the different types of server side Java programs? Servlets, JSPs. What is a servlet? One server side Java program. What is a JSP? Actually, directly, it is not a Java program, but internally, it will be converted into a Java program. So, therefore, I am calling it as Java program. That's why star I applied. Very simple. Very simple. When you observe this diagram, okay, if it is a Java based website, this server side program cannot be your public static void main. It can be either a servlet or a JSP, small letters. So a servlet is a server-side Java program. It does all the 5 duties and provides support for web server. No, 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 no. I don't want servlet. Then no problem. You have another style called JSP. JSP is another kind of server-side program, another type of server-side program. What a servlet does, it does all those things like as simple as that. Okay. So note, servlets and JSPs are known as web components. Web components. Okay. So in a high level interview, they will demand you, is it really a program? Yes, sir. Understanding sake, program only. But very technically, you should call them as web components. Just remember the term. Not for confusion's sake, just remember. Okay, fine. Servlets and JSPs are also known as dynamic web resources of a website. Dynamic web resources. A servlet is a web component. It is a server-side Java program. It is a dynamic web resource. Okay. A website has static resources, static web resources, and dynamic web resources. So, this page I will upload into website, Ashok IT website. I strongly recommend you to write the notes If not every day, at least once in 2 days. Go through that. Only listening, only idea you will get. You cannot master the subject, however intelligent you are. Just you are listening and forgetting. If you are intelligent, IQ levels are high, 2 3 days maximum. But by the time you attend the interview, a few months gap will be there. You can never remember Mother Promise. So that is why write in the notes, hard copy. Okay, before coming to next class, have a glance for 5 10 minutes. Then you will enjoy the class. Those who understand the class will never get the job. Those who enjoy the class will get the job. Who enjoy the class, who study previous classes and come to class, will enjoy the class. Okay, fine. So now tell me, a website has how many types of resources? Static web resources, dynamic web resources. Okay. HTML, HTMLs, CSS, okay, HTMLs, CSS files, image files, etc. Or what resources? Static web resources. Okay, please remember. Note. It is the presence of dynamic web resource that makes a website dynamic. So please remember, if it is a website, in a website, okay, only static resources cannot provide dynamism to the website. Okay, so definitely HTML files required, image files required, CSS files required, audio video files required, all required. But okay, and can they communicate with database? Can they process data? Can they produce the response page for the user? No, no. So static resources definitely required, but they themselves are insufficient to make the website dynamic. It is the presence, because web resources, dynamic web resources are present, means a servlet is there in the website, a JSP is there in the website. That is why the website has become dynamic. It is the presence of dynamic web resource that makes a website dynamic. I hope it is clear. Okay. Next question. And it is a web application development, please. Until I stop the class, you have to attend. Some people suddenly they are logging out because free batch, you don't care. Okay, so again you show your face tomorrow. I hate it. If you log out before the class, never come again. That's all. Minimum sense you should have. Oh, fine. What is a web container? Now the discussion is, no sir, all these days only web server word is there. Suddenly what this word web container? Okay. Uh, I told now, Python based website. Okay. PHP based website. And similarly, .NET based website. Okay. And of course, Java based website. So Python full stack, PHP full stack, .NET full stack, Java full stack. Full stacks are required for websites only, remember. Okay. I have seen people wrongly thinking Python full stack like. So Python language learn, but application of Python, it can be used in website development also, but it is not of great success, believe me, believe me. Python for data science applications. So that is why I have my reserved opinion on Python full stack. Like, okay, leave it. So now the discussion is, if it is Python based website, we use the word only web server. PHP based website also, only web server is the word. .NET based website also, web server is the only word. But if it is a Java based website, now, if it is a Java based website, okay, we use the word what? Web container. It's a web container. Okay. No, sir. If it is a Java based website, a web server not there, who told you? Web server is not there, who told you? So that's what, please. So you have to be understanding this. So now the point is, we are diving into a Java part of website, please. Okay. Till now, generalized discussion I have given. Dynamic, server-side program, and all that. But now slowly we are diving into Java part of server-side program. Okay, fine. What is a web container? It is the question, please. So what is a web container? A web container is a server software. It is a software. Single word is software. Two-word answer, server software. Okay. That consists of three modules. Three modules. Web server. Okay. Servlet container. Earlier, it was known as servlet engine. Servlet engine was an old word, but new word is servlet container. Third is JSP container. Web server, servlet container, JSP container. These three modules put together, that software is called web container. For example, Tomcat server. So in our advanced batch, Java batch, I will be using Tomcat web container for executing our applications. Okay, executing our applications. Very good. So look at this. This is web container software. It is a web container. Very good. This web container has three modules, I told. Okay, one module is what? Web server. One is web server. Another is servlet container. Servlet container. And one more is JSP container. Okay. JSP container. JSP container. Finished. So now tell me, what is a web container? It is a software. In this software, three modules are there. One module is web server. Another module is a servlet container. Another module is a JSP container. No, sir. For a website, web server is sufficient, na? Web server is sufficient, na? Then why to go for uh, web container? Sorry, already I told you. Already I very clearly told you. Java based website, if you want to make it dynamic, what are required? Servlets required. JSP is required. Can web server execute a servlet? No. Can a web server, can the web server execute a JSP? No. Please, once again, try to understand how I am connecting the things. Okay. This is browser. Okay. This is browser. Now, it is a dynamic website. This browser is accessing a dynamic website. Very good. So definitely web server is there. Web server is there. Okay, assume it is the web server. It is a Java based website. Okay, but for a Java based website, okay, two types of server side programs will give dynamism. Now, what they are? Servlets and JSPs. When client request comes to the web server, without executing a servlet program or JSP, web server cannot give the response page to the browser. But unfortunately, who cannot execute a servlet? Web server cannot execute a servlet. Web server cannot execute a JSP. So, therefore, to execute a servlet, okay, to execute a servlet, we need a servlet container. To execute a JSP, we need a JSP container. So therefore, only web server is not sufficient for a Java-based website. Okay, servlet container and JSP container. Okay, these two also required. All put together, we call it as web container. So web server will take care of communication and file handling. Servlet container executes a server-side program called servlet. JSP container executes a server-side program called JSP. I hope you understood. I only can hope. As classes progress, you will be further understanding. Okay, fine. Now, another 5 minutes I take the class. After that, doubts section, please. Okay, another 5 minutes. Fix your mind. So JDBC time, I told you to install MySQL. Most of you installed and executed. Now, okay, for our web applications, we have to install Tomcat. I will show you how to install Tomcat server, how to develop a Java-based all these things, please, as classes progress. Okay. Tomcat server, Tomcat software from ASF company. ASF means Apache Software Foundation. Apache Software Foundation is a company, it is an organization, non-profitable organization. That company manufactured a web container software that is called Tomcat. So that we have to install and we can execute it. Very good. So next question is, what is a web application? What now onwards, I stop using the word website. I stop using the word website. Website word non-technical people only should use. You are a technical person. You should be saying web application. Okay, banking application, insurance application, reservation application. But people call banking website, insurance website, okay, online shopping website. So like that. What is a web application? A computer application that provides services to end users through web, means internet service. A computer application that provides services to end users through web is nothing but a web application. See, please remember, any computer application is meant for providing services to users only, but through web, through web. Okay. For example, fine. A web application is also known as an online application or an internet-based application. Three names: web application, online application, internet-based application. But already I told you, fourth name also there. Web application is nothing but a dynamic website. Static website, you cannot call it as a web application. Only dynamic websites are web applications. So, first of all, web application, three more names are there: online application, internet-based application, and the fourth name is dynamic website. Slowly, I quit using the word site, website. Very good. For example, online banking application, online reservation application, online shopping application, etc. These are. So please remember, web application, first point, it is a computer application. Any computer application purpose is what? Providing service to the users. Web application also provides, but it provides online services. If it is a standalone application, through web, through internet, you cannot get the services provided by a standalone application. So through internet, through web, through online, you cannot get the services of a standalone application. Your public static void main applications in Java are standalone applications. Yes, you cannot get the service of a standalone application. Means your public static void main program service through web, through internet, you cannot get the service. So Java is not at all meant for standalone application development. Java is meant for, okay, online application development. I mean web application. So a computer application that provides services to users, through web, is nothing but a web application. Last question of the day. What are the Java technologies used in a Java web application? What are the Java technologies used in a Java-based web application? Number one, servlets. Number two, JSP. Number three, JDBC. Okay. But our concentration now is servlets and JSP. JDBC technology also is used. Why am I mentioning as a note? Reason is in web, our concentration is two technologies, servlets and JSP. So in the next class, I start the topic, means tomorrow I start the topic servlets. Okay, that is the point. And my teaching for today is over. You can ask your questions. But before you ask the questions, I have to unmute, I think. I have to see that. Okay. Anybody unmute yourself and ask the doubts? You are able to unmute or not? Okay. Unmute option not working. Actually, I only should allow. Somewhere I have to show this. Somewhere earlier I got na unmute to all option like. Please wait. Those who have doubts, don't leave. Don't leave. If you don't have doubts also, by listening to others' doubts also, you can learn a lot. No, no, here option will be there, sir. I am not getting that. Okay. Actually, here unmute option will come for me. Unmute all option will come. Yeah, some Vamshi is asking me, okay, why static website is not an application? No, you cannot call. They have decided like that. There is no logic and our feelings will not work out there. So if you are balance inquiry, it cannot provide. Funds transfer, it cannot provide. Booking a ticket, it cannot provide. Only you can view. That's all. So you cannot interact. That is why static website cannot provide any online service to the user. Only information it will give. Service providing application only, I mean, you call it as web application. That's why you cannot call it as a web application. Yeah. Sir, servlets not started. Somebody is asking, sir, will you explain about servlet life? First, I have not started servlet. How can I talk about life? Definitely we talk. Without talking, how we can write the program? Yeah, somebody is typing, sir, why I am unable to unmute? A chance will be there, sir, here. I should call the office. I will answer. Does Java IBM WebSphere? Yes, IBM WebSphere is the robust application server. It is not just a web container, it's an application server. I used WebSphere 10 years ago. For 10 years, I used that. EJB's days, I was using that WebSphere. A beautiful server in the world. Sir, IA server for .NET based websites, not for Java based websites. Yeah, somebody is asking. I am joining Advanced Java course today. Contact Ashok IT. JDBC is actually over. You can get the previous videos. Contact them, please. JBoss is also application server. That also I used. JBoss, WebSphere. Okay. Tomcat is not at all an application server. It is a web server. Application server, it can run EJBs also. Okay. So Tomcat server cannot support EJBs. Once again, don't ask what EJB, leave it. Tomcat is not a, yeah. Application server can execute EJBs also. So application server is equal to web container plus EJB container. Application server is equal to web container plus EJB container. Somebody is asking, is JDBC technology used in Java? How otherwise how you can communicate with database? Somebody is asking, today first time you are coming. In JDBC, what are technologies used? JDBC itself is a technology. Contact previous videos, please. After seeing one example, you will get the answer. Okay. After at least one example after watching, then automatically this doubt will be cleared. Leave it now. Leave it now. Yeah. Now you can unmute, please. You can unmute yourself. I think you can ask the doubts. Try at least one person.
Hello, sir.
Yeah, please.
This is Raghav.
Yeah.
Sir, for Java-based application, if we want to deploy or put in the server application, then what we can tell that web server deployment or web container? Because I have some doubt in the web container and web server, because web container consists of your telling web server plus servlet container and JSP container. So
Yes.
if
Exactly.
we
You
want to
are attending second time or third time advanced job?
regular classes, sir. I'm a regular student in your.
Not me. Advanced Java, how many times you attended? This is how many times batch?
This is second time.
Then that's why such doubts will come. Let classes progress, you will be getting. Don't worry, because Apache server is which server? Only web server, right?
Okay.
Only web server. It is not a web container. Can you deploy Java web application into Apache? No, you cannot. But luckily, there are some manufacturers. There is an example called JRun. One software is there. The brand name. It is only servlet container plus web container, servlet container plus JSP container. There are manufacturers in the world. They manufacture only what? Servlet container, JSP container. They don't have web server in that. Plugin, it is plugged into web server. Now totally it becomes a web container. Moral of the story is better learn web application development and deployment rather than worrying about all those things. Definitely, what are the differences and all, as classes progress, you will be automatically getting. Don't worry too much now. That's my suggestion.
Okay, sir. That's mean other programming language you are telling web server, and for
Ah,
Java based you are telling that web container.
exactly, exactly.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Most well.
Good evening, sir. Nagaraj here.
Yeah, please, sir. Tell me.
Sir, I required small clarification how exactly that server-side programming will works. Suppose web server is coordinating with database to get the data.
Hmm.
Simultaneously, how server-side programming from where it will get the data?
From the database using JDBC.
Okay, it will also connecting the database only.
Oh, exactly, sir.
Okay, fine, sir.
Right.
Hello, sir. Naveen
Yeah,
here.
yeah.
First of all, thank you, sir. Awesome training.
Yes.
I just wanted to understand, sir, maybe out or not. When you mentioned EJB, Enterprise Java Beans,
Leave
will
it, sir.
it be in
Leave
the
it. Now
Spring
I
Boot?
don't talk. I earned 3 crores in Hyderabad by teaching EJB.
Okay, okay. Is it,
No, no, no. Once again, let me tell you, I earned 3 crores in Hyderabad by teaching EJB. But for the last 10 years, nobody is talking EJB. Just leave
oh,
it, sir. Try to learn
okay.
on your own. That's it. Leave it. Leave it.
No, no, I was
Especially
just
my stuff.
thinking that is it a Spring Boot or
I don't
Spring?
want to comment on that.
Okay.
Actually, that fellow, Sun Microsystems company, sleeping. Oh, EJB great, EJB great, they were thinking. There were some disadvantages in EJB.
Hmm.
Then slowly, Spring
Hmm.
came into picture to
Okay.
remove or to replace EJB.
Okay.
Slowly
Got
it
it.
occupied the market, almost EJB went out.
Okay.
And for your kind information, Spring is not standardized. Certain
Hmm.
standard companies, they don't use Spring at all. But once upon a time, now it is not like that. EJB almost is a gone museum piece now. Okay, that's all.
Yeah. Thank you, sir.
Most welcome.
So in that case, application servers will be gone. What will happen to application
Why
server?
gone? Why gone? Robustness, na? Application servers, web server, it is excellent, na? It provides robustness. Application server, who told you will run only EJB container? Messaging service will be there, JMS will be there.
Hmm.
Got the point?
Okay, sir.
Message service, pipelining of all, so many
Hmm.
things service, transaction services will be there.
Hmm. Hmm.
Don't think only for EJB it is.
Hmm.
So many other services will be provided by applications.
Okay, sir.
Yeah. Yes, please.
Thank
Any
you, sir.
more questions? Somebody is asking how to access the previous notes. First of all, let me upload this, then you will see. I am uploading these notes. Yeah, where this one like. Option I should have, right. I am uploading today's notes. Observe, upload notes option I am using. Batch status in progress. Advanced Java. Topic name. Web application development. Date is 5/11/24. Browse. Submit. Yeah, notes uploaded. Actually, you should sign in. Actually, you should have an account with Ashok IT. Create an account, and then you log in. Here you will have a option, please view notes option, and see date wise total notes available here, and today's notes. Just I clicked on that. I got today's notes. Yeah. Any more questions? Yeah, please log in and go to that upload notes dashboard. You can go. You have last view, please.
Hello, sir.
Yeah,
Yeah, this is Munivesa.
yeah.
Sir, that Java, that web server and that is the servlet Java program, how internally connects, sir?
That let at least one example. That how servers manufacture. You better not break your head. How to develop a servlet and do the project is better concentrate. Okay, internals of how the server means server manufacturing you are doing or using the server you develop the application. Please think in that angle. It is not good actually. Because I am elaborating clearly, further elaboration is expected. That is my weakness. You are trying to exploit. Sorry. Right. Unnecessary, sir. That is unnecessary. That is internal affair.
Like it will go through port
Over, sir.
number. Like,
Over, sir. It is over. I don't comment anymore. Over. Any more questions, please? That's all. Any more questions? Those who joined only today, some questions at least. One more minute, I wait. Advanced Java starting date, I think 21, sir, I think. 21, 21st of this last month. That's all. I'm signing off. Thank you.